Hey everybody, thanks for watching. I wanted to do a video today about a watch I have talked about before, and it is the older version of the Omega Aqua Terra, and specifically I wanted to do a video about the watch on the right here. This is a watch I used to have, got rid of it a long time ago and regretted doing so, and was able to find one again recently, and I just brought back a lot of memories about what a great watch this was, and I wanted to share my thoughts on it with all of you. I imagine if you have found this video, you do have an interest in the Omega Aqua Terra. As a line of watches, they have expanded quite a bit recently. There have been several new color varieties released for 2022, and they definitely seem to be holding on, to the popularity they've earned in the past, 10, 20 years, as a very versatile watch, a watch that would work as a one-watch collection, so to speak. Could be worn in a lot of different settings, and that's what these watches excel at. And the watch on the right is actually a quartz Aqua Terra, as you can tell from the ticking seconds hand, and it is in the 38.5 diameter size. That generation of quartz Aqua Terra was only available in that size, so you really can't get anything else. If you want a larger quartz Aqua Terra, the only option would be the predecessor to this watch, which was 39.2 millimeters in diameter. However, in my opinion, this is one of the best and undervalued pieces out there in the secondary market. If you are interested in Aqua Terra, you probably are aware of the current retail price and how expensive they can be. These older ones are really no lesser in quality. I have a newer 8900 Aqua Terra, so I've had the opportunity to look at these side by side. Being quartz, they are extremely easy to take care of and basically need the occasional battery change, and I would not expect the need for a service for a very, very long time. And even if you do, it will be a much less expensive service than what an automatic would cost. So you can see here the case back. I actually like the case back on the quartz. I think that's a really beautiful design. And yes, there's no beautiful 8500 or 8900 movement to look at, but sometimes just having a beautiful design on the case back is just as nice, in my opinion. As you can see, this particular generation of the Aqua Terra has applied indices, and following this watch, they stopped offering the applied indices on the quartz models, and then discontinued them altogether. So these are not watches you could find anymore, and I think over time, as the supply dwindles, as whatever's out there is worn more, gets used more, you'll probably have difficulty finding excellent examples of this watch at some point. Sure, you can find them refinished, but I strongly prefer untouched pieces, as long as they're not extremely beat up. And this is probably a good time to look for that if you're interested, because you'll find ones like this one, which was worn obviously, but has not been refinished, has not really been abused or damaged, and still looks really nice. Here you can see I've got the watch next to the 41.5 millimeter automatic 8500 series Aqua Terra. That's pretty close in size to the current 8900 Aqua Terras, which are 41 millimeter. As you can see, it is a smaller watch, but it's not a tiny watch. It's a size that is sort of deceiving. Here you can see on the side that the quartz is actually a fairly chunky watch. It's not super thin, but I think in this case where it's only 30.5 millimeters, that does help give it some presence, some mass, which I think helps make it a watch that can be worn by a variety of different wrist sizes. It's really right in between being a small watch and a medium-sized watch. So I wouldn't discount it if you think that 35.5 millimeter case size is too small. I think here it is on my slim wrist, and you can see it's not tiny. The design of the lugs, the way they sort of, it's a good word to describe it, sort of flow out of the case, I think also enhances the presence of the watch. It doesn't look. It's not a watch where it looks like 4 lugs were attached to a round case. It's really flowing and very, very. It looks like just one piece of metal that you really don't distinguish where the case ends and the lugs begin. And I think that creates a design that looks nice even on a bigger wrist. I've seen a lot of wrist shots of people who swear by the 38.5 millimeter size Aqua Terra, even people with larger wrists, and I can see why, because if you take a look at more pictures, you'll see that it works quite well. Here it is again. Maybe this is a better way to view the size difference between the two. Now, other notable difference, the Omega text on the automatic on the left is applied while it's printed on the quartz. Not a big deal, I think. You got the Omega logo applied on both of them, and again, this quartz Aqua Terra has the applied logo, and Omega changed that over to a printed logo to go with the printed dial markers after this model. So yet another reason why I suggest, if you're interested in these watches, try to find this generation. I don't think it has an official name, but a lot of people call this like the second generation quartz Aqua Terra. Should also note the quartz only came in 2 colors, so the gray, as you can see here, and there's a white dial as well. Another thing I like is that the gray dials are no longer being offered on the Aqua Terras, and I am always interested in things that had a limited run, and obviously these are not rare watches, but it's cool to have a color that's not available anymore, and especially a color that's so versatile. It's not like some very unusual color that's not available. It's a color that can go with everything. So if you're interested in Aqua Terras, you don't want to dive into getting a new one at the current pricing, I strongly suggest take a look at the quartz models out there. With some hunting, you can definitely find something nice. It will be just as nice looking as the current expensive automatics and much easier ownership experience.